Welcome to Topless Toy Talk.
Today is Tuesday, January 13th.
And it is our 21st episode.
We are your body positivity podcast for the Simon era.
Yes, we certainly are. I can't believe this is our 21st episode, though.
Yeah,
that seems really wild that
21,
we've been doing this for that long.
21 straight weeks of
Yep. So this podcast
nonsense.
Can now have alcohol, so that's great.
We have matured over time.
I don't know about that. That's a pretty strong assumption there. I'm not so sure.
I've matured. I don't know about you.
You've definitely been not nearly as mature as I have been.
Actually, I'm fairly certain you have went backwards.
Definitely
with your maturity level.
100%.
When we first met, you were very cultured.
Well, I mean, I knew things.
You read a lot of books.
I did. I read hardly any books.
You read a lot of books without pictures.
I did, and now I read books occasionally with pictures. And I certainly talk more about toys than I ever did, probably even as a child.
You honestly, before me, did not even know what a toy was.
Nope, I hadn't seen a Marvel movie, hadn't seen most pop culture. What? I now understand a significant amount more pop culture and jokes than I ever did in my entire life. Yeah, so thanks for that.
You know what pop culture is?
But
I would just like to have you acknowledge that the general success in your life really came into play once we met and I started introducing you to things that were funny.
I am not so sure about that, but I'm not sure I've had the equal rubbing off on you because our guest tonight, Jason Michael, he's from Quebec, and you were like, you came to my office today and you're like, oh, he speaks French, right? And I was like, yeah, he's in Quebec. He's in the French speaking part of Canada. And you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. But did you know he speaks French? I was like, yes, where he lives inherently means that he is a native French speaker. And I just don't feel like these world things and cultural things have somehow rubbed off on you. I'm not sure I'm having the equal distribution.
Well, I just don't know how you know what language everybody speaks in all the different provinces of all the different places. That's a lot of things to maintain. I mean, information to maintain.
Quebec is a wild place. It is. I mean, I wouldn't say wild. They are trying to break away from Canada all the time. This is news our entire life. Entire life. Okay, kind of like Texas. Okay, Quebec is the Texas of Canada. Done. Done. Full circle.
That may not be true.
That may not be true, but also a little bit true. I like how you just Americanize that real hard.
I like how you try to talk about things that you don't exactly know about.
I know enough. I know that my cousin Tony, my cousin Tony.
Yeah.
He got pepper sprayed at a protest up there. He was just wandering around being his Tony self. And
in Quebec?
In Quebec.
Okay, so that means you know all the things. Great.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
This is going to be a good time.
It is. It's going to be a great time. So,
Sarah's going to educate the native.
I am not. I'm just going to tell random unnecessary stories like I do to our guest, Jason Michael. So before we bring him in, though, we should acknowledge who's in our chat.
Yeah. We have a few people that stopped by so far. We have the glorious and wonderful and talented.
Yes. Crop Modification. Hey.
Thank you for letting us use the song for intro still.
And for being just generally awesome.
Yep. And we also have
Esteban.
Hey. And the one and only
Roddy Riles. Hey, Roddy.
Thank you, Roddy. Welcome.
So let's bring in our guest.
You think we should?
I think we should.
Is it that time?
Let's do it.
Do you
it's that time. Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
All right. Ready,
1,
set,
2, 8,
go.
9, 10. Hey! Welcome. And
so I just I know we talked about this here before we got started, but this shirt, fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just can't. I'm just very.
If you didn't say shirt, I would actually question whether or not this is real.
Oh, trust me, it's not real. It's a much more soft body underneath. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
All right, so let's touch upon the general knowledge of Quebec.
It's very high level.
I would argue that Alberta is the Texas of Canada, and that Quebec is the Florida of Canada, minus the warm weather.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I read a graphic novel. I should I should have brought it down here so I could talk about it.
Welcome, Webby.
But there was a graphic novel that I picked up where I guess Quebec, like you could get land and you could settle. Like they had these little, like where you cleared the forest. And if you cleared like the timberland, you could get like it was almost like a little communist sort of compounds that were set up there.
Yeah, we still do that.
Do they still do that?
No.
No, okay. I was like, oh, really? That's wild. No, but they were mostly like Catholic little compounds, and I was like, oh, that is really interesting.
By the way, she's very gullible and will believe anything you tell her.
I totally will. Yeah, you tell me something, I'm done. I will totally.
If you straight face it, I'm not going to be different. And then tomorrow she'll tell everybody.
I will.
But if you guys want, I can speak French the whole time, confuse everybody.
You know, I thought about that. We actually have a little sub game here that we might bring out.
No, we'll definitely bring out.
But I did think about that. I was like, what if we had him speak French the whole time, and then we just tried to pretend like we knew what was going on?
I feel like you need to now put our little like scrolly banner here. So Rob did a very special little scrolly banner for tonight's show just because of that. We'll see if Google Translate worked well.
That's pretty good. Well, actually, there's more of a threat on the French, whereas in English it's actually kind of tame. Suivez Jason, sinon nous vous traquerons et vous ferez regretter vos choix de vie. So it's follow Jason, or else we're going to track you and we're going to make you regret your life choices. Fantastic.
That translated very well to please be kind and follow Jason.
Yeah, one's the Quebec version, one's going to be the Canadian, very nice people version.
Thank you, Google Translate, for getting it right.
But I feel like we really teed it up here. So we are going to do a translation game here.
Oh wait, do you want to do the introduction?
Yeah, actually, let's do the introduction.
You just get so excited.
I know,
just
I'm very excited here. So tell the folks as little or as much as you'd like about who you are, what you do, why you're here tonight.
He doesn't know.
I'm here because you guys asked. And who am I? I'm that's actually a loaded question, to be honest, because I'd say that I change pretty much every day. But if I were going to say I'm a guy who enjoys life, I like good wine, I like to have fun, I'm laid back even though I have anxiety. But and I love everything: comic books, action figures, film especially. So pop culture is really something that I'm always interested in. I love talking to people as well. It's always pleasant to be invited to come do these things. And looking forward to a pleasant 2026. So that's pretty much it. I'm married. I have 3 kids. Work as a college professor. That's what I do in real time, but I also work I moonlight as a toy photographer, I'd say.
Fantastic.
One quick question I had was like, how long have you been doing the toy photography thing? Did it start before your Instagram started, or?
Well, actually, it's 2019. Okay. I mean, just before the pandemic hit. I think that a lot of the people that are actually into toy photography right now, they actually joined the toy community roughly around the same time. We had a lot of time on our hands. We had a lot of money. And so
doing anything.
Yeah, we weren't doing much. Yeah, exactly. And so February 2019, I would say that that's the first time I actually posted. I had a few things that were like toy related in my Instagram feed, but I mostly was still shooting like short films a little bit here and there. I was posting, just random stuff. Like, let's say sometimes I'd have a Funko Pop next to a pile of essays that I had to grade or something like that. So, but I never really considered that to be like toy photography or anything like that, the way that I do it now. But it's kind of funny that you can kind of trace it back a little bit to be like, oh, he always had something around, like a toy or something like that on his desk so that he could fiddle with whenever he gets distracted. So, yeah.
I was thinking about that because when we were talking about this earlier, I was like, when did it kind of start for me? And so I actually just started collecting basically the pandemic, probably everybody else, right? Like we went to Target and I was like, man, I've always wanted like this Optimus Prime figure.
Exactly.
And then and then given true to her name, collection enabler here, like Sarah was just like, get it. Why not?
It's fine. Why not?
And then I was like, like Optimus, he needs Megatron to go with him.
Yeah, you can't just have an Optimus without a Megatron. Like, that's crazy.
And then you have 2, and then you're like, well, they both need friends.
And then this happens.
And then you have 8.
Exactly.
And then you have 800. And so And
it
then it's
gets
like,
nuts.
well, now that they're here, what do you do with them? Well, you take pictures of them, justify the continuous like flow of things coming in and out.
Yeah, that was the one thing that happened to me as well. I remember when the Black Series had come out. You know, like the action figures that I had growing up were never like 6 inch. They were always like 3.75 or something like that. 1/18 scale, and I remember playing with my Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. I remember playing with some He-Man when I was a kid. I didn't get many Transformers though. I did have a few, which was cool, but when the pandemic hit, it was roughly around the time that I was still collecting Black Series, and they had re-released a Luke Skywalker that I'd always wanted. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll go get that archive version of the Luke, and I'll pick up 3 just in case.
Just in case.
No, it's just in case. I no reason really exactly. It's just like what's gonna happen? One's gonna get some water damage, and then I still have my Luke. But it was interesting because I actually just wanted to feel it again. Like I had all in box at the time, and so there was something about that. Just being able to feel it again. I wanted to see what it felt like because, as a kid, like your hands completely different, but there's some sort of muscle memory when you play with certain things when you're a kid. I'd recently opened like one of the old Ninja Turtles. I noticed that the bubble on the cardboard back had yellowed, and I was like, well, screw that. It's not worth much anymore. So just rip it open, and I held Michelangelo in my hands, and because he was the first Ninja Turtle I had, and I just remember him being so much bigger, and I was like, oh man, that means I was so small when I was playing with these things. It's kind of crazy, but just the feeling was so fun. And I remember that like when I opened up Luke Skywalker, it was just getting that. I don't know if it's some sort of nostalgic feeling or something like that. Just like growing older. So 2019, I was 39. And I guess that would probably be consistent with my midlife crisis. I'm just like, give me my toys back. I don't want these responsibilities. But yeah, it was roughly around the same time, But I had a lot of Black Series. I've gotten rid of most of them now because I don't shoot them. But yeah, it was fun while it lasted, though. Just that feeling that feeling was still fun.
And the size difference, it's funny. So this has nothing to do with toys, as all my comments have nothing to do with toys. But when I was back home, I know that's why I'm here. When I was back home for like my hometown for Christmas, the one of the houses that I lived in as a child has actually now been opened up as an art gallery. And I went, because I lived there for, I don't know, probably like 5 years, I think, as a kid. So I think 5 to 10. And I went in there and I remember this house being so big. And when I walked in there as an adult, I'm like, oh, this is actually not that big of a house. Like the ceilings aren't as tall, the rooms aren't as big, because in that same way that toy is not as big in your hands now as an adult. It just, I don't know. It was very wild.
It's just reframing everything that you've already been through, right? It's so bizarre. I remember when I brought my eldest daughter, who's now 20, to kindergarten, and I had to sit down in those seats at the first parent-teacher meeting, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? It's just so tiny, but I remember these chairs being huge when I was a kid, So yeah, just yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys, we're old now. Give us something for our backs.
Yeah, the interesting thing was like when all of this nonsense back here, right? Like when I was a kid, I actually had 0 Transformers. I always wanted Transformers, but for some reason, at some point, somebody decided that I should like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so that's what I got for gifts, like for all of my childhood from like family and everything, was all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I had like, a good chunk of like, TMNT stuff like that. I mean, I cherish dearly, right? Like actually it's still in a box in my mom's house somewhere, to be honest. But so anyway, so like as an adult, I was like, you know what? I can buy Transformers now. Like nobody can tell me what I want to play with as a,
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how this spiraled, like for us. But I don't know, it's interesting. Like the Transformers are kind of the thing I primarily collect, but like not that I really take pictures of.
So you mentioned like some Star Wars. So what else do you collect? Are you like hard into Star Wars or like?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. I used to really, really love Star Wars, but the discourse online has kind of discouraged me from actually staying involved in the Star Wars community. And so, yeah, it's I find it difficult to get excited about anything Star Wars now because I can't really talk about it with anybody. I just like the world building, the universe, and all that stuff. So if they put out a show that I don't like, if they put out a film that I'm not too keen on, I'm not going to go online and like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to be like, all right, maybe that wasn't for me. But then you want to talk about it with a few people, and it's just crazy. You can't just have a discussion. It's like, oh no, they're ruining everything. And I'm like, well, man, what are you holding on to? That's so like it's the only thing I have left. I was like, don't you have kids? Is there something have a drink? I mean, but so no, not Star Wars much anymore, to be honest.
I feel you with that. Like they do a lot of that with Transformers too, where it's like I feel like a lot of the Transformers community is very toxic, especially like the G1 stuff. But it's like in person, like we went to a few conventions and nice. Everybody is so great. So it's like it's unfortunate that online has to kind of be that way. Like
it doesn't have to. And just remember, we crossed the Rubicon. We have now officially, according to studies, is 50% of the internet is bots now. So if we think that it doesn't match up with reality,
it's probably because
it's true, because 50% are not people.
Fair enough. But I'd say that my primary interest is probably going to be Batman. Okay. If I look at it very clearly, Batman. I do have I've started gravitating a little bit towards Hot Toys, simply because I'm not taking as many photos, but I still like the collector's aspect of it. Having a little mini toy museum at my place is something that I'm really, really keen on. So I can have this little display area that I can just go in and be like, my stuff. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I do have. Let's see. I have 3 Luke Skywalker Hot Toys. I got Boba Fett. I got Cad Bane. I got a really nice Darth Vader. I've got Mando. I got recently Darth Maul. And that's pretty much it. I might pick up Leia at one point because I really think that she's a great character. But I don't need much more than that in terms of Star Wars. Whereas on the other side, I have, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Jokers. I love the Joker.
Very cool.
So I have different versions of Heath Ledger. I'm actually building one right now. I'm getting parts from a few places and putting them together, which is great. And I recently put together a bank robber Joker from the 2008 film. And I've got the Keaton Batman. I've got the 3 versions of Jack Nicholson's Joker. I got Clint Eastwood in Good, Bad, Ugly. And I also have the Godfather, Vito. And Hot Toys. I got the new Doctor Doom right there, and I'm waiting for my T800 to go with my T1000. So I like that stuff. But then if I were to show you the toy room, it's kind of nuts in there. I have a lot of Mezco. I have most of the Muff toys that they've been putting out. I really like soft goods because when I'm taking pictures, I like the way that the light shines off of those instead of all plastic figures. With that being said, I did recently pick up the Moff X Daredevil because I thought he looked amazing. So I do like the superhero stuff quite a bit, simply because that's what I really enjoyed when I was a kid, and I never really had the opportunity to have them. But it's like an endless money pit now, right? They're always putting out a new version of it, all that. Right. So it gets very difficult to be picky.
Outside of Transformers, I started with some Marvel Legends stuff, and
that got real out of control real quick.
The 60th anniversary of Spider-Man, I realized I'm like, I have 50 Spider-Man figures. I'm like, for what purpose? And so I've actually slowly been kind of liquidating all of my
putting some stuff
Marvel
on eBay
Legends.
And all this
not because they're bad figures or I don't like them. It's just
there's so
many
space.
of them. Yeah, there's only so much space, and so it's like as I acquire I would say higher end things, right? Just kind of out with the lower end thing. I don't know how to explain it because like
No, that makes
no
sense.
shade
It's
to
exactly
Marvel
what it is.
Legends. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for the day where I'm just like, maybe I'll just try a hot toy. Maybe I'll just get one.
That's not going to happen, buddy.
And then it just like everything else, right? Like
But yeah, the hot toys is one of those things where I told my wife, I said, listen, I'm going to get a couple, and then after that, I'm going to stop. And here I am, like close to 20 now. So I got to be careful a little bit because those things are pricey.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I'm kind of lucky because my friend owns the Star Wars store here in town.
very
And so I get a discount at his shop. So that's not as bad, you know. So I get them at cost price rather than, you know, the price that he normally sell them. So I save, you know, a couple $100 almost every time. So that's kind of neat. But it's still expensive. It's still very, very expensive to get the hot toys.
Yeah.
But they look really good.
They do look good.
They look so good.
I know. I've tried, like I've debated it, but so the thing is, I think if I would go in anything larger than like 1/12 or, you know, whatever scale you want to call Transformers, like I feel like that's where I'd really have to like just pivot on everything.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like, I don't know where they would go in the house, to be honest.
I have no idea.
You know, like
the whole basement is this. Like there are bookshelves beyond what you're seeing and in front of us.
But it's
like it's
relatively organized.
It is.
Unlike my office.
And that's why I'm fine with it because it looks nice.
Yeah.
If it starts to look like a horde, we're gonna have to have an intervention.
But that's where it's like if I try to introduce like another scale of something, right? Like it throws the whole thing off. And so I don't know. They look cool. I keep trying to stay away from because like I don't have any self-control.
No, once you're in, you're like, it has to be 50 of them.
Yeah,
you're
all
done.
of them.
Well, it's because you're going to go through the same process as you described earlier. You get yourself Optimus Prime, and so well, he needs Megatron.
Exactly.
So you're just going to start over again. You know?
You should be grateful that I have avoided that giant Metroplex that's like $3,000 and 4 feet tall. I'm like,
see, that's the thing. I've given myself the objective of not getting anything that's bigger than my daughter.
I mean, that's solid. Like, does that mean like as she grows, like you can get larger things, or
no, because they don't make it in that scale, so I'll be fine. I remember the guy that I just told you about. It was really funny because he has the biggest Star Wars collection I've ever seen, and it's like this is museum like grade collection. He's got a bunker where he keeps all of his stuff, and I'm not kidding. It's crazy. It's like my basement. I think his bunker has to be at least 3 or 4 times the size of my basement.
That's what we need. We just need.
And it's just Star Wars. And he said to me, he says, "Hey, do you want to come over?" And I was like, "Yeah, you got something new?" I said, "I won't tell you about it right away." I said, "All right." And so I get into his place, and he had recently gotten a life-size Darth Vader. Now that thing is gigantic. You know, I remember going to a Comic-Con here in Quebec, and there's a guy that has a Darth Vader suit. He's immense. And like my dad's like 5'7", I'm 6'1", and I was standing next to Darth Vader, and I looked like my dad standing next to me. It was crazy. I sent the picture to my dad, and I was like, "Dad, this guy could carry you around like I carry Madison around. It's like a toddler." It was amazing. And when I saw the life-size Darth Vader, I was like, it's the same size as the guy that I met. He's got to be at least 6'7".
Wow.
And I was just staring at that thing, and then he plugged it into the wall. The chest comes alive, and everything like that. He can actually breathe. And I was like, I gotta go, man. This is getting too creepy. I feel like he's gonna like just open up his lightsaber. But then I asked him. I said, "Okay, now, first of all, how'd you get your wife to agree?" He said she didn't, and I was like, "All right, that's pretty cool." And how much did it cost? He said $12,000.
Wow,
that is some serious money.
Exactly. Now the thing is that the day I come home and I tell my wife, "Listen, you know that $12,000 I have aside?" I said, I'm going to invest it in a Darth Vader. She'll say, "Get out. You're sleeping in the car." And then after that, once I've sold the car, you'll sleep outside in the driveway for whatever time you can be there.
But in
It's
all
nuts.
fairness, 12,000 Canadian is only $8,636. So it's less than 10,000. It's less than 9,000 in American dollars.
So what you're saying is, if I find something for 12,000 Canadian dollars, and I'm like, hey, can I buy this? It's only
There you go, Trevor.
$8,000. You would just be fine with it. Is that what I'm taking away from this?
Sure.
Hold on, it's because don't forget that you guys still have tariffs right now, so that price is going to be jacked up on shipping. Darth Vader weighs.
I pre-ordered something yesterday. It was $40, and it came out to $120 post tariff and shipping. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Or sorry,
That's
it was
crazy.
65.
I was going to say,
Not
that
40.
doesn't make sense for
No,
the
not
tariff.
40. 65.
No, I mean, it's put off all Canadians to actually being able to buy anything in the United States. You know, a lot of the stuff right now, even including shipping, you know, when we buy Mezco directly from Mezco, you know, the price is 116 American. That comes out to 175 Canadian. Yeah.
Welcome, Trevor.
And then after that, they charge us $55 for shipping.
Oh, God.
So that brings the total price
Right,
like close to $260. So I'm $100 away from Hot Toys. So I'm like,
Wow.
well, you know, I might as well just get the bigger version of this. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's wild stuff.
I know we try to avoid politics, like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like, I understand the concept of like the logic behind the tariff thing, and I know it's like not a forever situation, but like it's done. I'm done with it.
You're done with
I'm tired of it needs to be
Uh,
more strategic, because I'm like, things like toys, like, I don't know, like, what are we achieving by this? Like, I'm just saying, like my import
Well,
figures
okay,
from
Rob,
Japan,
I don't-
like,
I
are
want-
never going to be made in the United States. Like,
we talk about no politics. Okay.
I know.
So on
Anyway.
that, okay. So I'm gonna
Sorry
change
about
the
that.
subject. No, you're
No.
fine. You're totally fine.
I go on tangents all the time
I
about
have
this.
very
Like,
strong opinions, but we're not going to talk about it here because it's not a good idea. But I do, just in the spirit of what we talked about before. I really want to do this
You wanna
game
play
because
this
you came up with it.
Okay.
So I think it's fantastic.
so
Okay, cool.
So
if you're interested,
if
this is a 5-round game.
It's a first. This is a first. And so this could fail epically, but I think it's going to be super funny.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
he's going to show you a figure,
Mhm.
and you're going to tell us the name in French.
I'm old. Oh, it's the same name. Wolverine. But they say Logan.
Oh,
Instead of Logan, it's Logan.
I like that.
Chun-Li's the same.
You might be figuring out the game.
Dr. Henri Jones.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's different.
Okay. I appreciate that one.
That's Peter Parker. C'est Peter Parker.
See.
Yeah. But the thing is that Peter in English is actually Pierre.
Oh.
So, but it would be so bizarre if ever they were to translate his name
Right.
to Pierre Parker. You'd just be like,
I don't know. I
Pierre?
like that a
You mean
little
like the
more.
guy that works down at the convenience store? Pierre, the mechanic? What the fuck's going on?
That's fantastic. That was the last one we had.
I don't know how they say his name in French though. They say Wilson is the way they're gonna say it is Wilson instead of Wilson. So
Hmm.
Wade Wilson would be Wilson, but Wade, I think they just say Wade.
One of the videos you had linked in your link tree, where you were doing the interview in French.
This is why he came to my office.
I watched
today.
this, and I was like,
right, yeah.
I was
that's
like,
a
all the
long
names
time.
of these things are the same in French.
And I looked
Yeah.
at him and I said, yeah, of course they are. Just like computer. And like, there's a lot of things that were
I'm very dumb.
created in the
I am
United
not
States
smart.
that like, it's the same word in English as it's everywhere else. Like, because it's where
So-
it started.
So I took a couple years of French in high school, which I did not retain very much, but they never taught us the words that like were the same. They were
I
not
just
like,
want you
I
to
don't
know you went to a much fancier high school than I did. And
Yeah.
I know these things.
I know.
Well, I mean, it goes back to English almost being eradicated by the French, in the early 1000s. So it's just one of those interesting things that we do share words, with the Latin aspects of what French would have and things like that. But, we maintain the Germanic cadence and whatnot. And so, yeah.
Well, and we're in Iowa, so like we live in Des Moines, which
Slipknot, good stuff.
So it's funny when people like come to, we go to some event, like we'll go to a concert, people will be like Des Moines, and I was like, well, nice try.
No, Des Moines, but Des Moines is pretty
Yeah,
funny.
Des Moines.
And then when we first met, I lived in Dubuque, which,
Right.
that's a lot of vowels for people to try and figure out at all. So like it's a very like French settled area where we live.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of French places.
There's a lot of like French.
Interesting. I didn't know that about Iowa.
Yeah. So Dubuque is the oldest city west of the Mississippi.
And it makes sense because that would translate to Dubuque, but and it's actually a family name here, Dubuque.
Yep.
So.
My favorite is still Sir Diagonal.
Oh God. Yeah. So Rob is infamous for creating like fake stories and fake words, and so we lived right off of Diagonal Street. I can't even say it anymore. I can't say diagonal anymore. You broke me. So you made up this like fake thing about Sir Diagonal.
Sir Diagonal
So
settled in Dubuque.
Yeah, Diagonal. I like that. There's some Irish guy that says it that way.
It's wild.
I love that. I cannot say
it. I cannot.
But it's just like in Harry Potter. They call it Diagon Alley, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There, I'll give the people what they paid for. Yeah, I'm just trying to make Trevor uncomfortable.
I don't want to have a talk with them.
Yeah, you need to send $2 bills. So what we also thought would be funny or not funny, but interesting from like a photo. I'm sorry, it's up in this other screen here.
So we're going to transition a little bit to photography.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was we were going to look at like the first, and Rob had asked you like, when did you?
Oh yeah, there we go.
And this is we believe your first
one of the first things you posted
in
it's the one I consider to be my first photo. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what the deep question here is, but
the deep question was, what would you do differently?
Oh yeah, like so looking back way back.
I wouldn't post it.
I
wouldn't post the picture.
Guide you in 2019 to do differently.
so I fundamentally feel no matter how bad it is, you should always still post it.
I don't think this is a bad photo, but my opinion means nothing.
Terrible.
So
because like one, it shows like progress or change, and I don't know, like it shows a history, right? And like if you don't post it, then you never see that. And I mean, I guess it's there for other people to see and criticize, but like I don't know.
I mean,
I think it's fun.
The only reason I posted this was because I was happy to get that Luke Skywalker, and I remember seeing Hot Kenobi. He was one of the first guys that I saw, taking pictures of toys, and I thought it was like ingenious to have him. I still remember the thanks, man. If it's bad, don't post it. Exactly. Exactly. I have a lot of. I don't have very many pictures on my hard drive that I haven't like shared, but there's a few. There's a few that I'm just like, I don't feel like polishing this turd. Yeah. And so, in this case, I mean, I think that when you're just starting, the idea is to be happy with what you're actually posting. But then after that, from there, don't become complacent. You're like, how can I improve this? And so that's kind of the idea that I had. When I noticed that other people were doing practical effects in their shots, it didn't take me too long to try to get like some sort of movement in my pictures. And so this one, for example, is just, I remember I didn't understand lighting at all. And I'm still trying to figure a lot out. I know what I like, but I'm like Trevor's lighting, for example, is probably like, I can like Trevor's a master, and the way that he lights things is always impressive to me because he really, I think he understands how to shape light. I'm putting it there because I like it. I don't think that I'm doing it kind of like by reflex, but Trevor seems to understand the science behind it. And so when it comes to something like this, for example, I have no idea. I always thought I thought that lights were supposed to go in front because you want to show the subject, right? But as you'll see a little bit later on, I think a year removed from this is when I kind of posted my first shot where I was actually doing backlighting. And that was after meeting a director of photography while I was doing my first Comic-Con here in Quebec City. And that's what he said. He said, I said, if there was one thing that you could tell me, he says, backlight. And I was like, oh shit. And so basically, he told me to take my lights that I'd have and then just change them positions, put them in the back. And ever since then, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool because it really separates the figure from the background rather than having it blend in. This was fun because it was just ideas and concepts that I was having. I just let my imagination go. I really love that picture. It's one of my favorite.
I think this one's fantastic. I don't know. I'm a big fan of. Actually, I'm a big fan of a lot of the stuff. Actually, I'm gonna say a lot of the stuff. Most of your things, because like you have like a fun kind of way to do it, right? Like there's some serious things, but like there's like
there's storytelling.
There's story, yeah, right. Like you can like there's something there that it doesn't take.
It's not just a picture in your hand,
Yeah.
which no shame to people that are doing pictures in their hand. Like that's, I'm not saying
that. Some of the guys that do that stuff, that the way that they pose the figures,
right.
I'll watch videos of those guys because the way that they pose them, I'm just like, wow, how did you manage to do that? That was great. I can't get him in that position. There's such body language. It's an art form that I really have grown to love, because I didn't like it initially. I was like, fuck, these guys are getting 100,000 views, and this guy, I'll show you something in my hands. Here you go. Look there. Are you having fun now? But then after that, I noticed, like when I started trying to pose them, just the minutia of what they're trying. I'm like, that took a lot of time to achieve.
So. Like I tend to waver. So I don't know. Like I tend to waver on like trying of like a complex kind of like scene setup and just very simple. I don't know. I'm trying, like, I call them more artistic photos.
Right.
I don't know a way to explain that, and I can't figure out what I like. Good. My photography is not that great, by the way.
You
so,
just
like,
you just do like full circle, but like for this photo of yours, like it makes me second guess. Is that a real person? Like I almost, if I saw this, I wouldn't necessarily know that that's a figure. And
that's usually what I'm trying to go for, depending on who I have. And like the idea behind this one was, of course, he has a Sphinx cat because it mirrors what he has under his helmet. You know, it looks like a burnt cat. So I figured that because Anakin's all burnt up, it would be the type of cat that he would have.
See if I can
Mario with the raptor. Yeah, that one went viral. It was it's one of those shots. It's so funny because initially that was one of those shots that I didn't like, that I almost didn't post.
Really?
But it's the shot that most people know of mine.
I think
this Mario with that raptor.
I think the Mario Raptor one is one of the first ones that I saw, and I was like, oh, following that guy. Actually, I think I saw it on Reddit. It was the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly where it went. It started off. Yeah, that one. If you look at the behind the scenes of that picture, I actually started because I was shooting outside, and this is when I had an apartment, and the sun would come in at 10 a.m. on the side, and then after that, it would start blaring from the other side. And in order for me to get some form of interesting lighting, I had to switch. So I spent, I'd say, 3.5 hours outside resetting up.
Oh wow!
Because the light was too stupid. I couldn't get it right, and so it's really. Thanks, man.
I would have gave up 20 minutes later, been like, it's fine.
You are such a liar. You spend so long like doing minutia. You are such a liar.
I like to put in like little details I know nobody will ever see. I know that because I'm like, hey, did you notice this? And she's like, oh no, but now that you pointed out.
Yeah. And that's it. So this is just me trying to do practical effects outside. I was shooting outside most of the time as well because I didn't really know how to shoot inside. There was a certain type of lighting that you need to understand in order to kind of start shooting inside. And so I would just drag my stuff outside and make a mess, as you can see what's happening right there. You know, and this is me, you know, trying to use everything I learned from like Mitchell Wu and Jared Middleton, you know, Sir Dork, in their techniques and stuff like that. So it's like, Prime, he's a great guy. I love that guy. If ever do you guys know Prime? He makes these like really nice arcades and things like that.
Yeah,
a lot of really wonderful props. I like posting this because most people cherish the collectibles, but I try to remind them that if you're taking pictures, they're not toys or tools.
Yeah, I showed her and she audibly gasped.
I gasped a lot. And I was like, oh God. No.
I said it's fine. Like
Uh,
they have all of them. A lot of them have holes in the back. It's great. Like,
yeah. No, this was
Yeah.
good. But you were being silly about Prime to the First. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, the reason he was saying that is because every time Prime to the First like posts something, this one comes to my office, he's like, God damn it, I have to buy so much more stuff and he doesn't have a loot box and I just want to not have to pay shipping all the time. I just want to order like 50 things at once.
Heavily
and have them
invested in
all
Prime's
Very cool.
diner accessories right
The
now.
diner's beautiful. It's so good. So good.
So
when I saw it, I was like, and the thing is I just don't use that many props anymore. I have so much stuff, but I've tried to, because I have a young kid at home. Thanks, Mr. Northern Fred. I've tried to really streamline my stuff. Like I haven't posted many things that I've wanted to post recently because I just don't have time. So like, let's say I have to work for Mezco or I have to work for Muff Toys or something like that, they'll send me figures. Now I'll use that time to take those pictures. And so the props that I use are usually going to be very minimal. I try to just be able to put the figure down, find a background that I like, and put it in a decent looking pose or a setting that I think is going to be interesting, and use some of the props that I have. And so getting more props with the type of space that I have and the type of time I have is just it's counterintuitive to the way that I shoot now. Maybe later on, once Madison's a little bit older, I figure maybe I might actually get into back to dioramas, because you can control light a little bit better, and props, because I do like props. Once the light shines on it in a certain way, you can kind of play with that, and it gives you a very different mood, and it's super fun. And I like to encourage like these artists too, because the work that they do is so cool, and I really appreciate it as well. And so I kind of miss interacting with the individuals that are actually creating these things, but for time and money purposes, for now anyway, I really have to kind of, once I get down to, like, let's say a shot for Muff, like recently, I had maybe 2 hours, 3 hours tops to shoot 2 pictures. Because I'm not like Darius, the Amazing or anything like that. It'll take 300 pictures in 2.5 seconds. But it takes me a half a day sometimes to get one shot, because I'm always kind of like fiddling with it's falling this way and it's not hitting the light. That means the light has to be. And so I'm just kind of like, so all that setup really takes me a little bit of time. And then I have to sit down and I have to add like a few things in post, and then do a bit of color correcting and all that stuff. So it takes a little bit of a while. So I don't really have that much time, because then go pick up Mads at daycare and then make stuff, or continue reading the book I have to read because I'm going to be teaching it in 2 weeks. Stuff like that.
Next Thursday, I gotta
exactly.
Do you find like when you're doing things for companies, right? And so it's like, I assume they send you a thing and say, here, take some pictures, right? Does that take away from your creativity? Like, do you sometimes just have to be like, I got to get this done? Or like, do you just kind of, are you always brainstorming? Like, as soon as like, are you trying to think of something, or is it just comes on the spot? Like,
well, I used to be able to kind of sit down and get into some form of flow state, but because I have a young toddler at home, the opportunities I have to get into that zone are very few and far between. And so I would say that most of my really good creative work is behind me now, because I used to have time. I used to like take notes and say, okay, this thing, how could I subvert that? How could I reimagine this scene or do something like this? Or now it's more like, all right, get that thing out of the box, put it on the table. Let's see. How can I don't have time to imagine like what I could do. Like I really wanted to do something funny with Marv, the Muff Toys Sin City Kane figure. And it would have been, now that's aesthetically okay. But the thing is, I find it boring. And if I'm honest, I find it boring because I would have liked to do something different. I always like pushing a little bit, like what kind of person is Marv? How can I turn this into something funny?
Mhm.
How can I turn this into something that would be the opposite of whatever Sin City might be, you know? And so it would have been fun to have him like juggling heads or something like that, you know, the head that he cut off of the police officers. But I found myself trying to create one of the scenes from the film where he's actually beating. I bought myself like 3 Hasbro police officers. I set up, I took the pictures. I was like, I don't like this at all. It's so boring. And so I just trashed them. They're on my hard drive. I'm never going to post them. I don't like it at all. You know, but this all right. I figured, you know, I figured I'll use it as an exercise in how to, you know, do a little bit of lighting. And so I said, okay, how can I get some like harsh contrasts and whatnot that actually look like the comic book and look like the film a little bit, and have a little bit of fun. So
I always find it interesting the perspective of the creator versus the audience, because when I came across, you know, when I saw this one, I was like, this is fantastic. Actually, the thing that I really appreciated was your behind the scenes, and like the way that you just use, like you use a, well, I think you use TV, right? Like to
that's my TV, yeah.
Display. I don't know, like you have a way, I think, of displaying images like on the background and integrating them into the photo that I think is really good. And I don't know, I'm always impressed with it, because like I've tried a few times and I can never figure it out. And so, but I just,
I can tell you how to do it. That's actually Trevor helped me.
Okay.
Kind of master this a little bit more, but I can tell you exactly how to do that.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to hear. So
because you've been trying. He keeps bringing this up, and you've tried it.
Because
like,
I see things like this. I'm like, that's so genius.
Like, he's like, I don't understand why this doesn't work. I was like, what are you asking me
I don't know,
for? I don't
like,
know anything. Like, I can't.
Like, this sucks.
I can't help you.
I mean, the big trick that Trevor gave me was to put a circular polarizer on my lens. Now, a circular polarizer is going to allow me to control the lighting that's being emitted from my television. So normally, if you're going to put your lens there and just have it shine directly on the television, then the TV itself has its brightness setting and whatnot, and you're not going to start fiddling with that every time. And so the circular polarizer, once you start twisting it, what it does is it really attenuates the intensity of what's actually being shining on the screen. And so as a result, it's so much easier for you to match the lighting that you have set up with what's actually being projected on the TV.
That's very nice.
So the circular polarizer, and it's dirt cheap too. You can find this like maybe $20-$25 on Amazon. You just, you know, screw it into the front of your lens, and you'll see as soon as you set it up in front of your TV, you'll be like, hey, look at that. I can actually just completely erase the background if I want to, or I can just kind of bring it down a little bit, set up my lights so that I can understand and make it logical with the lighting that's there. And yeah, it's super fun, and it's a very easy trick. Once you get that circular polarizer on, then you start blending it into the background. You start finding the angle. Okay, if this matches the floor, it's on the way up, so I can actually kind of set it up that way, you know. And then with the circular polarizer, it works just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have one that like I've kind of messed with usually with some Transformers stuff, just because like there's always kind of glare and whatnot, and kind of some weird things with like the clear plastic. And so I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I'll give that a shot and see. But
and change the lighting where you're lighting. Light from the back. If ever you're using your circular polarizer, have the lights shining towards the lens rather than towards the television. A lot of people are like, how do you get rid of the glare? And it's like, well, there's nothing to glare. The lights are not pointing that way. So
yeah, it's like, I mean, that's what. Yeah, so I actually we talked about this the other day. I'm like, I need to get some different lights. Like I go through lights like every few months because
I mean, because like we have a light. Well, this is nothing to do with photography. We have a light here, a light here, a light in front of us. Like we have all these.
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
Lights, and then you have all these. You know, then you have your photography lights. But you just
I should just use these for the photography, because I spend more money on these, and like what I use for the photography
these do look really
are
good,
like
though.
these cheap little, like they're kind of like the tube lights or whatever. And I'm like, they cause too much, like there's not enough control. They just spread too much. And so
but then after that, what you could do is you could use one and bounce the light off a bounce card or something like that. So you'll have your key light, you'll have to just be able to fill it in that's in place depending on what you want to bounce and whatnot. So there's always a way to shape it. Right. So do you start with the brightness from the TV and then build the scene and then add lighting? Yeah, essentially what I'll do is I'll set up But now that I have my setup, I kind of know where I want my lights to be, right? So I'm always going to have these two giant spotlights in the back, right? And I'll have a light that's going to be on the top. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the rest of it. What do I want to highlight? So I'll take my little RGB panels and whatnot and put the light. Okay, so I don't feel like I'm getting enough light here, so I'll shine that one this way. Or then I have a little loop cube with a snoot on it, and then what I'll do is I'll be able to highlight a specific aspect of a figure if I really want to cut it out. So because I really love rim lighting, really takes the figures out. And so I usually start with the brightness on my TV, just put my camera down, but I don't fiddle with it. I set up the whole scene first. I'll set up where my lights are going to be. And then after that, once all my lights are on, I can see what my TV looks like. And then from there, I'll be able to just kind of manipulate the circular polarizer to say, oh, well, seeing as that, I don't have too much light here, then I'll be able to fix that. But then after that, it really depends on how you shoot, right? So the camera settings are going to be really interesting. I shoot long exposure. So normally I'm going to be around f10 or f14. And as a result of that, I need to shoot for at least 2 seconds to get everything in detail, right? So the thing is that I'll set it down. So once I have that, once my camera setting is all set up, it's a lot easier for me to manipulate the light because I can see it directly on my little viewfinder, what it looks like. Okay, so from there, what do I do? Okay, the screen's a little bit too bright, so I'll just take it a little bit down to the notch like that. But I'm noticing that I'm not getting enough light from that side. Turn up that light a little bit, But once the camera's set up and all the settings that I normally like to use, then from there, just shaping the rest around is going to be it's just fiddly until you get it right.
This is probably a dumb question.
No questions.
While we're talking about photography stuff here, because I make all my stuff up as I go along every day. Like I just learn something new because I don't know. I do it just because it gives me a purpose for my collection, right?
Well, and it's a creative outlet.
And it's a creative outlet. Like I never expect anything nobody's ever gonna want to buy my pictures. So I never expect anything like that. But I do get curious about
just real quick though, you do put copies of he has some small prints of his pictures, and whenever he sells something on eBay, he throws in a picture as well as a business card for this.
I like to
throws
pretend
a little
that people
extra in. And I just think
have an
that's
interest
great.
in it. But okay, this is a two-part question. One, so I just was thinking about your Mario one, right? So your Mario one with the Raptor, you wouldn't do that long exposure, right? Because how do you capture?
No. That one's you
so
shoot
how would
fast.
you capture? Yeah, the dust. But is there a reason why you do the long exposure? What's the?
It's the level of detail.
Okay.
I love it. I love seeing. Once you have a shallow depth of field, for me, I feel like I'm not sharing the rest of the environment. And so in order for the picture to be immersive, for me specifically, I don't know if people like it or not. I like it when it looks like more of a tableau. So I'm looking at it and it really has depth, so I genuinely love that. So the long exposure, I need that because if my F value, if I'm going to be shooting with a really long depth of field, then I necessarily am going to have as much light as I can in order to get that. So the long exposure, it just becomes a byproduct of what I have to use in order to capture the completeness of the image.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. You're just whatever. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I kind of get it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's cool. I like the logic.
Oh, wait. So do you want me to re-explain that?
No.
I understand at a high level. I don't do photography. This is not my thing at all. I just like to talk to people. Yeah. That's all my thing is here. Okay. I have no contributions here. Other than that.
But you get what I was saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, cool. All right.
Cool. If you don't get it,
I mean, I get it enough. Could I re-explain it right now? Absolutely not. But I feel like I understand.
So she doesn't care to get it, is what we're getting at.
That's not really it. But.
No, I mean, but I understand. But the when we talk, you understand the idea of depth of field, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're watching a film, depending on how you want to shoot an individual, to show them, if you look at a film like Taxi Driver, for example, the way that he's going to shoot Travis Bickle is going to be one of those instances where Bickle is always going to be isolated in the frame, and you're never going to see anything in back of him. Right. So the thing is that it shows his isolation as an individual. So the background is going to be blurry he's going to be alone in the frame. Now, the thing is that if you look at films like David Fincher's, for example, most of the time what he's going to do is going to shoot deep focus. And so he's going to have everything, but in order to put everyone and everything in frame, he shows the people within their environment. So everything is in focus. So that deep focus is what I like to use to show everything in the picture, because it gives that idea of a lived-in world, right? Whereas if you have a shallow depth, it's like I'm isolating the thing, but I'm not. I'm trying to. It's as though I'm creating more of a mood where I want you to focus on the figure itself rather than the environment he's in. I don't particularly like that. I feel like, especially if you're using like props that people give you and things like that, if you bought something that you want to show off, some of the dioramas and things like that, it's really fun to be able to show these things. So to show that it's a lived-in world. And so for me, the long exposure means that I want to have a deeper focus so that I can show that this is not necessarily just about the figure, but it's about the mood that the figure's in as well.
Okay. No, I get that. I get that.
I actually really like that train of thought. I like your logic. It's
yeah, that's interesting.
It's very thought provoking.
Yeah.
I just want to sit here and like ponder that for a minute.
Well, because we do a lot of like shorts. Clearly we do a lot of like short videos, and so we came up with a great dumb idea. We'll see if we actually make this happen for Valentine's Day. I'm super excited. I'm not going to spoil it, but I came up with it at like 10 p.m. He was like, well, the problem with this is, I was like, no. And then I was like, nah, I'm not interested anymore, because you started off with the problem is, but then he got really excited about it. And so now we're going to figure this out. But like with a lot of the depth stuff that we're talking about photography, like we do that for the shorts. We actually, for the video that we're going to release tomorrow, he had to put blue painter's tape on our carpet, like where we're about right where we're sitting right now, so that we could, like, I knew where I needed to be and how I needed to position and like all that sort of stuff. Because it does not, I don't know if this,
don't act like I know how to
no,
videos.
I'm saying like from a and it could just be me, like, but it feels like to me it's more of like a female thing of like you can't really orient yourself always in space, like as well. And like I'm not being like, I'm trying not to be super obnoxious here, but like I have no depth perception at all, and so he's constantly like moving me to like, here's where you actually need to stand. And so when you were saying all that stuff, I'm
tying what you're saying together. Like I get what
I
you're
just
saying.
like it was not.
You're just describing the process of blocking. So whenever you're blocking a scene in film and things like that, what you have to do is, you'll see like actors, whenever they're blocking a scene, they'll have tape marks that they're going to have to travel to put their foot there, because that's where the camera is going to be in focus, right? And so essentially what Rob is doing is blocking. It's exactly the same thing, I guess, way I want to describe it. The way that I do when I set up my things is I'm blocking my figures, and then after that I'll just choose the focus that I want. But because I have a longer depth of focus, you'll see there are a few things, like if I want my focus to be Batman, well, obviously it's going to be a little bit farther in the scene. So the first part of the scene might actually seem blurry because that's not where my focus is. I'm drawing you into that spot. So it's all about that. It's just a little finessing. So Rob's he's blocking at that point. It's great.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a good example to give you maybe a demonstration, but like all this stuff off to the left side, right? Like I think in other instances, like that would be blurry.
Right.
It would actually be the whole background. He's on the same plane as the couch, because that's where the story's happening. But normally the rest in the back, if you were to have a shallow focus, it would stop roughly at the back of what you see there, the boxes, essentially, the little what do you call them? Yeah. So right now there is a slight difference in focus, obviously, because I'm drawing people into where that guy is and his little moment with the rat. But normally I'll see people that are going to be shooting, like, say, if they shoot fast, so they would put themselves at like maybe 125, and then after that maybe f5.4, which means that there's not going to be enough depth for me on that shot. I'm at f11, if I remember correctly. And so I'm getting as much depth as I can. So I like that, because it shows just how that moment that they have together is so much more interesting because of the space that they have, right? he could have been anywhere in there, but they actually happened to be in that specific little space together.
So is there a reason why you went into teaching English instead of like, I don't know, anything else? Like maybe something that has to do with like film or photography. I don't know, like yeah, or like some of your earlier stuff, like your earlier posts we found, like, you know, your little 15-second like
yeah. So
that was horror shorts. Those were fun.
Do you still do those?
Yeah, we actually had a question I wrote down about like when's your next one?
I want to. I've actually started thinking about going and making a short film again and all that stuff. I'm getting the itch. I remember speaking with my sister at Christmas time, and we were playing this game called Know Me If You Can, and I recommend it to everybody. It brings like families together, and it's like these really fun bonding experiences. And so I was discussing certain things with my sister, and she says, I'd really like it if you get back into movies, because although you'd make movies I wouldn't understand or maybe not even watch, I think that your perspective is something that needs to be shared. And I was like, that's very kind of you. I'm very, very appreciative of that. But I did try. You know, I studied film for a while, but like anything, getting into the movie industry is a lot about who you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know many people in the movie industry. And even the people that I did know, well, they're trying to make a name for themselves. So if ever you get recommended, then it might be an opportunity that they don't have. And so, yeah. And I also had my kids really young. I had one when I was 25 and another when I was 27. So I didn't want to be like an absent dad. And so the choice that I had to make was either, well, keep pursuing film, but don't see them really because I don't really have time because the hours are weird, you know, time and all that stuff. And so I went into teaching because, well, being an Anglophone in the province of Quebec, I can use that to make money. And so it gave me the opportunity to create this space where I didn't have to worry much about that, just raise my kids and whatnot, and not necessarily be looking for projects constantly, you know, so in film and things like that. So I definitely still have an interest in it. I'm not saying that I won't do it later on. But and I like my wife told me about it recently. She says, yeah, maybe you should sit down and write something. I hate fucking writing, but but the getting on set is always something I enjoy, like working with actors or playing with the camera and whatnot. That's always so much fun because once you get into that space, you're like, all right, what are we building now? You know, even if it's set up already, you know, I've always like tinkering with it with a bunch of stuff. And now I don't even know if what I know in terms of what I've done in toy photography would translate to film. Maybe I'm hoping it would, but you never know. All I know is that from my experience in working with short films, I do love toy photography slightly a bit more because my actors don't talk.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I know. I am not an easy person to work with. Like,
I don't know how we
do such a good job with like corralling me because like I don't understand your vision. I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. I lose interest very quickly. Like I am like a toddler. You need to give me snacks and rewards throughout, or otherwise it's not gonna work.
I don't even know how we got into some of the things we've gotten into, because like I'm not really good at a lot of things, but I have these ideas and I'm like, I gotta get out of my head because otherwise it just sit and like it keeps me awake at night. I can't get past it. And so I'm like, that's where I'm just like, I don't care if it's bad or not. I'm gonna make it and do it because I don't know. Then I don't have to think about it anymore. So actually, it's honestly usually the bad stuff that people are like, "That's so cool."
Well, back to your photography of like you were like, yeah, I didn't even like that picture. Like our most popular video right now is me flipping people off.
It's so dumb.
Like,
and it's just one of those things. You're like, why?
Yeah.
Like of all the things, like I just feel like we've done such better things, but this is probably going to be the one that gets 1 million views, and great.
You're like, and then the pressure is to avoid repeating yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the thing. I mean, I remember once Mario went viral, and I didn't like it. I was lucky I didn't like the picture because then I would have started chasing doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't. I decided to just do what my next idea was, and I just kept going from there, and it was kind of fun. But I see a lot of people, you know, that once they get that little bit of notoriety, you know, and then they're the work becomes kind of stagnant. They keep repeating the same thing, and it's difficult because I totally understand the want, because like this is the only way we get to build our platform most of the time, is like we become our own brand, and that's kind of a shitty way to look at it. And that's
It's
why
true though. Yeah, it's true.
but the one thing I've realized in gaining a following is that I had more fun when I didn't have it.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Well,
Because like when you have the following, then you probably feel pressure to like produce things that your followers like, right?
precisely, instead of doing what I want. And I've paid the price. The thing is, I continue to do the things that I want to do, and I'll put it out, and then zero traction or zero engagement. And I'm like, but then it starts to weigh on you. You're like, well, does that mean I suck now? Or does that mean like I don't really have anything to contribute? Should I just move on to something else? And then once you start like letting that go, you just realize, who are you doing this for anyway?
Yeah.
You're taking pictures of toys, man. This it doesn't matter. And so I
mean,
try to remind
it
myself.
matters, but yeah, like I
mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's like I guess maybe from my perspective, it's like it's art. I don't know. It's somebody's creative process. So like it's a part of you. So I mean, I think it matters. Like I get what you're saying, but like maybe I'm trying to say is like, don't discredit yourself. It matters, right? Like you matter. What you do matters.
Well, and you say, you say the same thing about your photography. Is like your Transformers photos never do as well as like some busty like lady photo.
I could take a really bad picture of like some figure that has large breasts and just like on my desk, and it's like 10,000 views. And I'm like, here's this cleverly thought out something with a Transformer. It's like 4 views. But I still do anyway, because I'm like, I like Transformers, and I'm like, I don't care if people like it, but like, I don't know. It's probably the difference between like, I don't know, I'm gonna say an artist, but like, I don't know. I feel like when you have a craft or like you have something that you like and enjoy, like it doesn't matter what other people think as long as you're happy. For the most part.
Yeah. Oh,
but see,
show 1-6 shooters message there.
Yeah, exactly. I stopped caring about how many likes I get, and that's the thing. Like it is. I haven't graduated to that level yet. I still kind of care.
Yeah.
But one thing I do though is I've promised myself to stop showing the like count for my sake. I don't go back to check, and if I don't see it, then I'm fine. I did go check sometimes, and I remember I had this weird tick that I would do. Is like, oh, if it gets 1,000 likes, then I'll show it again. But if it's under that, I'm like, oh no, man. It feels so dirty. It's like, oh man, But now it doesn't matter if it gets 5,000, if it gets 500, everything is hidden. I don't go back and check it out or anything like that. But now they show you the views, and I'm like, that's even worse. It's got 25,000 views and 400 likes. You're like, the fuck's going on here?
Well, that's what, like, I had a conversation with somebody earlier today about algorithms and stuff. Like I find algorithms like very interesting, like the kind of
you're a better man than I am.
I don't know why, because it's like I know like a lot of people think like there's hacks and tricks and this and that, and I'm not sure that there necessarily is per se. Like I think there's ways to slightly manipulate in one way or another, but like I think what it boils down to is like people's interests, and like I think people's interests change, and so it's like you might have followers that like are into one thing, but I think the example I gave was that when I first created my Instagram account, like I had no posts show up in my feed that were Lego related. But then Lego put out the Soundwave Bumblebee and Optimus Prime Lego figures. And so I got those, put them together. And I know my phone's always listening to everything I say and like whatever I do on the internet or talk about.
There's so many Lego ads. They're just going to be all through our feed.
And so like now, like I would say about a third of the content that shows up when I like am browsing is Lego related. And so it's like whatever was there before the Lego stuff is not there because I quit engaging with it or liking it or whatever, right? And so so it's like but I'm probably still following those people but I'm just not seeing their stuff anymore. And so
precisely, that's exactly it. Now I have to go on certain pages to see the work. I find it so frustrating.
So it might not be, so it's like I was telling somebody earlier today, is like I don't think it's like you're producing bad work or it's things that people don't like. It's just interests change, and I think it's hard to always keep your stuff relevant on everybody's page unless you're somebody like you that just everybody loves. So
no, trust me, I've seen messages from people that don't like me at all.
that's so funny. I don't know.
Oh, there's so many people.
Yeah.
Weird comments.
People are crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, I find it bizarre the things that people will tell other people on the internet that they wouldn't say in real life. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't say anything that I wouldn't tell somebody face to face.
Yeah, like somebody, like some of these comments. I mean, actually, that's a question for you. Have you gotten anything like particular where you're just like, what is this? Like, why did somebody? Is there anything that stands out like that?
Yeah.
Welcome, Jackpot.
I remember when the Mario shot went viral on TikTok, it got like 12 million views. It was crazy.
Wow.
But then it gets, something like 10,000 comments, and you can't answer 10,000 comments. What the hell? I have a life to live. I have to work on this body. And so
they're like, Sarah, you're taking care of everything for the next 3 weeks. I got to answer 10,000 comments.
Exactly. But I remember, like, the first 100 comments are great, and then once you hit that, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, it's like, well, this looks like shit. Hey, this guy you need to get yourself a girlfriend. But I'll answer those sometimes. Or like, my wife wouldn't like that, or something like that if I got a girlfriend. Or, and so the trolls come out once they see something that either they don't like, which is fine. You're allowed to not like what I do, but there are people that are just online to just kind of criticize shit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this one kid that would constantly provoke me, and it was about his beliefs and all that stuff. And at one point, I was like, "Listen, man, you've been in my comments for the last 2 months trying to get me to provoke me into a conversation." And I says, I'm not getting into it. And he was sending me DMs and things like that, really like aggravated about certain things that I would say or share in my stories and things like that. We're not getting into politics or anything like that, but it was really something. I was like, these are my views. I've gotten so much crap that I've actually turned off the comments on my stories now.
Oh, wow.
Because I just share and like deal with it. It's this is what I'm sharing things that I agree with or that I like or that I think funny or things like that. But yeah, there is a nasty side to those things that is unfortunate, because it doesn't take the fun out of it, because I don't try to take it too seriously anymore. I used to want to build an audience and maybe make a living out of this and all that stuff, but once I realized how difficult it is and that my motivation wasn't necessarily there, that I do enjoy my career as a teacher, I was like, well, the rest of this is kind of just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not happy, that's not my problem. I'm not here to make them happy.
Exactly.
No, it's interesting because like we've gotten a few more like weird comments, but that was probably my initial hesitation with all of this, was just being a woman, like doing this stuff is, oh God, like what sort of like weirdo. And
what's funny is like
this
is the thing I feel like we do that is the most sketchy. And it's the thing that actually gets the least strange comments.
Yeah, I think I've gotten a couple of, because I mean, like, there's nothing sketchy. I mean no shame to people if you have like an OnlyFans and you're wanting, like, if you are a female or a male for that perspective,
Hashtag
like in your
OnlyFances.
Whatever. If you want to go into, fine. Like that is nothing I will ever be doing.
Oh, cool.
Like,
I'll add my link in the comments.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If that's what you want, whatever. Everybody do your own thing. Like I'm not trying to like shame anybody. It's just like, that's not the thing.
I like
but
stuff.
I think it's not been too many people. Like what, 5? I think about 5 people that have sent me DMs are like, hey, can you send me your OnlyFans page? And it's like,
really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, or they've made some like hint of that. And I'm like, no, that's not what this is about, friends.
like, did you
And
stop
so
telling
it's
me
just
about
like
these weird
blocking,
messages? Yeah.
instantly blocking
That's
of like
funny.
this or like weird stuff. But yeah, it's like, would you ever really say that to like a person in real life? Like, are you so that
know.
disconnected from like the human experience that you would ever like approach a married person and do that? I don't know.
So
it's just very strange.
I don't know if I told you this, but I started taking a new stance with the people that start doing the trolling comments.
Yeah.
And I apologize to them for not meeting their expectations.
You did not tell
Right.
me.
And then
I saw that
I
last
also,
week. That was funny.
But then I also apologize that they are having a rough time in life right now, and then offer, if they would ever like to talk, they can reach out anytime. Like,
Has anybody reached out to you?
not yet, but they stopped responding immediately. They're like, "Oh man, he caught me." If you, I'm trying to kill him with kindness, and it's working. So I don't know.
It's very Canadian of you. That's good.
Yeah. Sometimes, actually, so I went on a real tirade the other day because of this dumb video we did. Like, so somebody said Legos, right? But apparently the plural of Legos
Is Lego. There's no S.
Like, I don't know if you are familiar with that or not. Like,
I don't care.
I don't care either. But there's like probably about 20 people that have came in and corrected this, and like they're like, well, actually it's Lego, and like, I don't know, after the 10th one I was like, that's it, I'm done. And so it's funny. I don't know, people on the internet are so funny.
Yeah.
It's wild, but this kind of devolved into a
I know,
quest.
it's devolved as they do.
I'm trying to circle this back because like the original comment or question I had was like, the approach you take, or kind of like how you look at your photos is very, in this cinematic way, kind of just got me thinking about, it's like you seem to have like a lot of knowledge about film and how that works, and I appreciate that. It's really cool that you kind of
thanks. Yeah, I am a bit of a film buff. I normally don't talk about that much because I don't like kind of boasting or anything like that, but I do still have, well, we moved in about a year ago, and my father-in-law wants me to go get the stuff over at his place in his attic, but I can't go get it because I don't have enough space. But I have at one point I had 3,500 physical films here that I'd watched. I sold a good portion of those. Now I only keep like the ones that I know that I'll never be able to find again. So I have them on DVD, and they've never made it to Blu-ray or something like that. I have a lot of the Criterion collection that I really enjoy. So yeah, I've always been like, movies have been my thing since I'm a kid. I've been watching them. My dad used to take me to watch movies, that I wasn't supposed to be seeing. Like I went to see Terminator 2 in the movie theater, and like, because I asked my dad was like, he asked my mom, can I bring? I was like, as long as you go with him, that's fine. So he took me to see a bunch of stuff, and then when I got a little bit of money, I was able to also kind of go back and, get some of the comic books that I used to like as well. But film is something that I've always loved. I've watched almost all of Hitchcock's films. So it's, I love his movies, Kubrick as well. I like a lot of French films like Jacques Audiard and things like that. French New Wave stuff is stuff that I've studied as well, because there's a direct link with, pastiche and films of Guy Ritchie or Tarantino. And so I could drone on about movies, so much, but because I love it so much. But yeah, I'm always watching something. Right now I'm kind of into TV shows a little bit, but there are a few movies that I was like, oh, I haven't seen that, I gotta get that, or I haven't watched that in 20 years. I have to, sit down and watch that again, like The Network, for example, or recently rewatched Zodiac because I thought it was fantastic, So, but there's another movie that I have to sit down and watch again because I do it every year, and it's John Wayne's The Searchers. I love that movie with John Wayne in it, and
John Wayne's birthplace is approximately 15 minutes, 20 minutes away?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes away from where we live. So
there you go. Yeah, because Stagecoach is one of my favorite films. I love that movie so much. And when you see like the visual language of it, it's just so appealing. But I did shoot something recently. Actually, it was one of my buddies at work. We have a union party at work every year, and the union had asked us would you guys try to imagine what your jobs are going to be like in 25 years? And so with the rise of Skynet that we're seeing right now, it's one of the interesting things is that we're like a lot of people are saying that teachers are going to become redundant, and I'm like that's not true.
Yeah.
But we tried to imagine what it was going to be like, and because like you mentioned a little bit earlier, the language laws here in Quebec, they're still trying to pass laws where trying to make French, English more difficult to learn. So they're trying to extend language laws over to junior college and university and things like that. And so he thought up an idea of what it would be like in 25 years, what our job would look like. And so I thought it was interesting enough as an idea, but I didn't want to shoot it. But then one of my other buddies, a colleague of ours, says, "Can you just indulge him? He's your best friends. You haven't, just fucking do it." And I was like, "All right, you know what? Let's do it." And so I shot the short little film thing for him. It was about 2 minutes long. We had a blast, and everyone liked it. So that was kind of fun. So I did shoot something recently, just pleasant. It's all in French though, so even if I were to share it here, everyone would be like, "What's he speaking there?"
Well, so
I feel like, can you just like dub this live for it now?
Yeah. No, I think you teed us up. This was another question we've been talking about that we wanted to ask you about with AI.
This is your favorite
I know
question?
This is my favorite question with AI, because it impacts everything from our professional lives to our personal lives to this. Like, what are some of your thoughts about AI? Is it a good? Is it bad? Is it something? Is it a tool? Like, is it good for this community? Like, what have you? Is it good for the world? Especially with 50% of the internet being bots. Like, what are your thoughts here?
I'm not an expert on this at all, so it's kind of difficult to navigate. I know that when it comes to school, it's pretty difficult right now because. Like when the internet showed up, it became kind of interesting because there was that shift where you could actually upload a lot of the journals that were being, research and all that stuff was uploaded to the internet, where you didn't necessarily have to communicate directly with universities and have them ship books or, these large boxes, or you didn't have to travel to that place. You could actually just go online.
Nexus, you could just go.
Yeah, and then there was keyword search as well. So if you were able to download a PDF file and stuff like that, so getting access to information was so good as a result of the internet. I feel like AI, it's a double-edged sword because the access to information is going to be exponential. The only thing is, what I'm noticing is that people are becoming passive learners rather than active learners, and so that passivity is the one key thing that I think is detrimental to the actual learning experience. And so when it comes to teaching right now, what I'm noticing from my kids at school is that they just want the result. They don't understand that the process is the key component that is actually going to enable them to gain some form of experience, competency in a specific field and things like that. They just want to get the result and then go away. And you're like, but that's the thing. You're not building the skill necessary to understand the result that you're getting. And that's difficult.
That explains a lot. Like, I guess that correlates directly to like what I see specifically, like in my job, is people don't. So the group that I work with is based. What we're supposed to do is help teach people so they know how to do the things kind of going forward, right?
You're like a troubleshooting support team. Yeah.
But the people don't want to learn how to troubleshoot their problems. They just want you to tell them the answer so they can move on.
Yeah, the current problem. They don't want to understand the whole concept.
That's interesting that just is clearly starting much earlier in life. Like a lot of people.
And I have the same thing with my job too, with my team that I manage, which is like an international team of writers. And people will come to me from the team with, well, what do I do for this? And I won't ever answer their question. I'll just keep asking them questions until they get to the right answer, because I want them to, because to what your point, like, I don't want them to keep coming to me with what do I do in this situation? I'm just going to be like, okay,
Well, what do you think?
What do you think? Like, how would you handle this? Like, what are
Yeah.
some of our options? Okay, which of these options would be the best one? Like, I will play 20 questions till the end of time to see, can you do this job? Or like, is this maybe not a good fit for you? Like,
Right.
you know, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, you're totally right. You're seeing, I would even say probably like a generational thing too, of like,
Oh yeah.
the
This is a
younger
big
they are,
change.
the less likely they are to want to like dive into
So we're
learning
just
that skill.
doomed for a long time.
Yeah.
From an artistic standpoint, I remember when, like early on in the process, I was generating backgrounds for my photos. And, or actually, no, I wasn't generating backgrounds for my photos. I was using generated backgrounds for my photos. So I subscribed to Adobe Stock. And so they have a place on Adobe Stock where you have access to either people that take pictures, and they have 3D art, or there's another little, you know, thing that you can toggle that would give you access to AI generated results. And so I thought that was interesting because I could kind of look up different types of dungeons and things like that you know, the computer had made up. Now the thing is I used it for the better part of 2 or 3 months until someone called me out on it. And he's very much an anti-AI person. So again, this is one of those things that having a larger account or a larger group of followers kind of puts you in the crosshairs a little bit of getting some of the flack. And so I kind of reacted because what the person had done was he had posted screenshots of specific elements in my photos to show that I was using AI backdrops, like the pictures themselves. He wasn't criticizing the stuff, but he literally dissected a lot of my work, you know, stuff that I've now, they're no longer on my feed. I've taken them away. Because I had a conversation with him. At first I reacted. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" It was just like, but then I realized this is a learning experience. I need to understand why this person is reacting so strongly to why this is a bad thing. And I heard them out. And from that time, I've not used it at all, you know, to even like generative fill or anything like that, because I understood what this person was talking about. He said that not only is there a copyright issue, the laws haven't really been passed or anything like that. I'm setting an example that's one that he doesn't feel that people should follow. And so being a person that's going to quote unquote set an example, I should be able to have a little bit more of a better influence rather than just kind of cave to what the new trend is or something like that. He says, your work itself speaks for itself. Why would you tarnish it by using stuff like this? And so I took that to heart. I had a good conversation with the guy, and I agreed. And so personally, I won't use it. I've had conversations with other people right now that say that backgrounds, not a big deal. But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be on the side of like, no, don't do that. But I do know, like for myself, I'm kind of happy I don't do it because it's not something that people can come attack me with first and foremost. And then after that, it's also, again, the copyright issues. I completely understand that it's not real well regulated or anything. Someone was talking about the resources and all that stuff, that people are generating images, and I didn't know about the resources until, you know, maybe a month ago. And I was like, holy shit, that actually is damaging, you know? So people that are creating these really stupid things that we don't need, how much did that cost in terms of like water and whatnot, you know, cool these systems down. And so, yeah.
Cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding, yep.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit torn because I see its utility as a tool in order to streamline certain aspects of work research in order to kind of make it more efficient. But that's the issue. It's the same thing with the social media. It's the same thing with the internet. It's an interesting experiment, and we're not using the knowledge that we have about how people have used the internet, the knowledge that we have about how people have used social media, to kind of guess what's actually going to be happening with AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can see it. Like the internet is a crazy place. There's so much misinformation. It's a cesspool of crap. That there's a lot of stuff that's weird. Social media is the same thing. And you're talking about bots and whatnot as well. And so AI, I mean, if you do not have the motivation to actually go out and make sure that your sources are actual sources,
Mhm.
then you could be reading something and all you're doing is using confirmation bias, right? If you're left leaning, right leaning, and things like that. And I don't want to get into politics again. But I remember reading something just the other day and I was like, oh, this is an interesting quote. I should post that. And then I was like, no. So then I went to do research and it was actually misquoted. It wasn't from the right person. It was attributed to that person. I was like, it's a good thing I didn't post that, because I would have fallen directly into that trap. And but it's really difficult to get everyone to do that. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because people are so preoccupied with being right rather than challenging what they have in front of their eyes.
Well, and not to devolve into my day job, but like one of the things I see as a manager of technical writers is I can see how people are searching for information in our internal systems. And I'm telling you, like for a corporation, I can see the search results. Most people search for things using one word. That is 80% of all the searches. So if we think, so I guess maybe to give hope here for AI, if we think AI is going to take over and
here
people
I am
are
writing
going to do
paragraphs
this,
for my searches,
I'm telling you the vast majority of, at least the folks that are using the documentation my team produces, which I think probably does scale, quite well here for thousands of folks, is like most people have no idea how to search. So they have no idea. They have no idea how to use AI tools because they don't even know how to use more than like one word. How are they going to write a prompt successfully? Now for you to get the wrong quote, absolutely. Like I have faith that you're writing things properly in terms of a prompt, but like I almost hope that it's a little bit of a fail safe, because the average person's just never going to be able to figure this out, or it'll take them a long time.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of strange, because to me it would be the equivalent of, it's like we license people to drive, right? I think that sometimes we should actually be licensing to have access to the internet.
I don't.
If you're responsible
enough. Like you have, we don't have children, but like you have kids. I mean, at what age would you let your 3-year-old online?
I'm gonna have to talk to my wife about that, because I do know that I regret having my kids be on screens a lot when they were kids, but in the again, it's two things, right? I was a single dad raising 2 girls, and I was putting myself through university at the same time and working full time, and I was just like, oh Christ, this is TV. Because I have to finish this novel, because I have a paper that's due in a week time and I have to start writing it and all that stuff. So it was becoming really challenging at one point. And they got their phones, and it's kind of interesting, because you're like, oh, I'm going to give them a phone, because that way, if ever they're in trouble,
then
they can reach out to me. And the thing is that they don't fucking reach out.
That is not what children do.
They want to be in trouble. That's the thing, is to let them just be in trouble. And so I remember when I was, my parents never gave me a cell phone. They were like, well, let's see if it comes back for supper.
I remember having to use payphones, like when I needed something. I was out and about, and I don't know. It's wild.
My brother was born. My youngest brother was born when I was 12, and like I vividly remember, no one remembered me. I was 12. It was my last day of grade school, whatever school year. 6th grade, and like I didn't we lived in the country. I was in the oldest, and like and so I had to like figure out how to get.
You're a small town, just walk. But I was gonna make a comment on the AI thing that I think is interesting, is that so I think so everybody kind of freaked out when computers became a thing, right? Is because they thought it was going to take everybody's jobs and replace everything. But in the grand scheme of things, there are some jobs that went away because of computers and technology and this and that. But I think as technology evolves, that'll always be the case. But in the grand scheme of things, like computers are used as a tool to aid to be more efficient. And I mean, when utilized appropriately, I would say. But like if you look at kind of how things have just kind of devolved, like people use computers not necessarily to be efficient, like to help aid them, right? It's to make false information, false things, right? Like which was being done before AI. So it's like AI is really just like in a lot of instances just speeding up what people were already doing. Yeah. And so I think if I don't know how we ever get to this as like as a society, we're getting real philosophical here, but like I think if it's some way like we can wrap our brains around of like this is a tool, it's a stick, it's a wheel, right? Like how do we use this to be more efficient to do the right things, like then I think it could be a very beneficial and like useful tool for us to have. But like I think right now it's just feeding itself with bad things, right? And so it's just like, what's it going to devolve into 5 years from now? I mean, is it going to be anything legitimate whatsoever? I don't know.
I mean, we have the answer 33 years ago when Jurassic Park came out.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
They were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think whether they should. And then it's the same thing right now. It's one of those things. People like with AI to do just like, let's turn it on. And you're like, have you not watched Terminator?
That's what I said. Like you mentioned Terminator earlier. I feel like we're just on a flow. Like, so I mean, like, yeah, I mean, the like images, like videos, stuff. Like it's kind of neat. Like it's a neat technology, right? Yeah. Like it's not a replacement tool, but like, is it being more beneficial? I mean, I'm sure there's instances. Like I try to use it for certain things day to day, like to figure out ways to be more efficient, like in my job, or improve this and that. Like just the same as like if I we have some like automated tools and stuff, like, and I'll try to write like little scripts and code here and there to like come up with like little kind of tools to help improve things. And so like like I think there's use cases, but again, I'm the type of person that's like, well, how can I use this to make things more useful? And I'm like, instead of like, how can I create deep fakes? I mean,
well, but to be real honest, way before Photoshop or ChatGPT or any of these other things, deep fakes existed long before that. True. Not again to go political, from our governments. Like if there's a long history, and I won't even go into. I'll just go into like the Soviet Union. I mean, there are people that were like taken out of government, like government officials that were in pictures, and then they re-released the photo with that person no longer in it. That person had gone off to the gulag. Like this is something that has been around. It's just easier to do now.
I mean, I took several photography classes in high school that taught how to do those types of things with actual film. So
there's a whole bunch of them.
You can
Lee Harvey Oswald. I think there was a lot of images of him as well that they had kind of photoshopped at the time. But there was actually they hired a bunch of guys that were really great with trafficking, anything to do with film, and they were able to put him in a bunch of pictures. And then when you look at it, you're like, ooh, the shadows don't line up. What's going on here?
Turn up the grain enough, like it all looks the same in the end. Like
right.
Yeah, that's what I did in my first photo.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I know we've kept you for a good amount of time here, so I feel like
we talked for a very long time.
I know.
And so
this was great, though. I appreciate. I love all the little rabbit holes that we went down here. So
there was one question I did want to ask before
is it okay? Actually, I have one question while you're looking for that one.
Do you have time for 2 questions?
Absolutely.
The first one's really hard. So it is, on average, how many times a week do you go to Toys R Us?
I don't at all.
You don't have it. You don't have it anymore. You have it in Canada. I'm just a little jealous.
And we used to have 2 nearby where I live. The only thing is that the prices are nuts.
Oh.
Everything is so expensive. Like classified, the G.I. Joe series and stuff like that, or even the Black series. For a deluxe figure, we're edging towards $80 or $90 now at Toys R Us. Whereas if I go to the Star Wars store, the guy selling them there, he's still selling them for like $36, $37, $38, and the deluxe figure for $50. So there's no point in going to Toys R Us because it's just price gouging like crazy. And I'm like, how are they even open with these prices? It's nuts. So, and even Lego. I mean, my wife and I occasionally will like to, get a few Lego to create, to make, and then they can come get me.
They will. Don't worry.
And the thing is, Lego sets are crazy now. Everything is so pricey. So I just get stuff online that I like most of the time. I'll order here and there, and I try to, even toys for the kids. Sometimes I'll just like exactly like, but no, I never go to Toys R Us. I'll go on occasion, maybe if I need something specific because it's my nephew's birthday or my niece's birthday or something like that. But I do not, like, I'll go once or twice a year max.
Okay.
I will go through though. Because I'll go through the Toys R Us if ever I'm there and I'm nearby. I'll go through my trip, and especially like there are a few things that I worked on for Jurassic Park, for example, for Jurassic World with Mattel, and I'll be like, I was the one who made the video for that. I was the one who did it. It's just kind of fun to just go, you're just walking there and you're just a civilian. No one knows that they're hiring these guy from Quebec that's actually just kind of creating these videos, and so I'm next to this clerk that's basically not awake, and I'm just like,
so I feel like I made that.
I worked on that.
Like I would wear a shirt of me holding a picture,
just like I did that.
Yeah, exactly.
I would make a point to go in Toys R Us once a week. I just stand next to it, just like posing.
I mean,
like,
in all honesty, we've joked about getting like just T-shirts with our faces on it, like
no,
all
we
the
should
time.
Do that. After I made you that blanket with our faces on it,
Yeah, that was one of the Christmas presents he got me, was a picture of us on a blanket. It's like my favorite blanket now.
That's great. That's a great idea. I should do that too.
But like every day of the week, if I had a shirt that just had your face plastered on it, I would wear it, hands down, no questions asked. Everywhere.
Your last question.
So maybe mine's like a two-part question because I forgot about this one. So we normally do like this wheel of questions where we spin and it's randomized.
But it's actually you answered it. They just naturally came up, all of the questions that we had. So great job.
Good job of being a conversationalist because there's only one of those on this side of the camera. So yeah, one thing that like I'm always kind of curious about is do you have like a favorite set of props or like a favorite, like either whether it's a person that makes things or just kind of like things that you have acquired that maybe aren't like for what they are intended to be used for that you really enjoy, if that makes any sense?
Well, I like everything that Grime City does. Taman, he's a guy from Ontario, and he makes these really cool props, and he's always really available for me. Let's say I have a project that I need to complete, and I was like, hey man, do you think you could do me a solid and get this to me in like a week or two? And I was like, yeah, no problem. And so he'll send me a bunch of stuff. So like I was working on some project with Storm Collectibles for their Alpha series on Street Fighter. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to build a bonus round for Ryu where he's like busting through some barrels. And I don't know what it is about like crates and barrels and things like that. I just love those as props. It's just fun. I think it's because Sergeant Bananas Johnny had so many when he was doing his Popeye shots early on that I was like, I need crates and I need barrels. There you go. And so I sent a message to Taman and I said, hey man, do you think you could send me maybe like 10 barrels, but I need like 2 of them that are broken. And he said, all right, let me work on that. And he did send it to me. And I was able to kind of use a background that they have in Street Fighter in the back. And I was able to use the barrels that he sent me for that. Cool. And so those are some of my favorite props because not only is it fun to get stuff from him, but they just look so good. Yeah. And he also has a bus stop that he's using, little thing. That was great. His phone early on as well. One of my most liked pictures is just Mandalorian on the phone in the middle of the desert someplace, like he's just answering a call. And it's a Better Call Mando. It's just the idea was that the Book of Boba Fett wasn't doing really well. And so the last like halfway through the season, they basically said we should turn this into the Mandalorian because this show sucks. And so essentially we knew that Mando was coming up on the week after. So instead of Better Call Saul, it was Better Call Mando. So you just bring him in. So he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, I can be there next week because we can try to save this or salvage this piece of shit show that we're having. So yeah, Grime City is probably my favorite guy. He's really, really solid.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I got a handful of his stuff too, and I think I have like $300 or $400 worth of stuff that I ordered from him that I'm like waiting on. So I'm a big advocate.
Yeah,
I
got you stuff. That what was it, the phone booth?
Yeah, I
that
have
lit
like
up like
a little
that.
phone
That
Yeah.
is really neat.
Yeah, I do like phone. Well, I've ordered his newer.
Oh, his newer phone
He
booth.
has a new like phone booth. Top comes off the like.
Yeah.
That'll show up someday.
He's hard at work, man. I know.
Yeah, I know.
how
Like
much he works.
he's.
So.
I think he's always.
Have you seen his graffiti?
Mhm.
Yeah. He's like. I think a lot of the stuff I have like
so
has. His,
good.
oh yeah, his actual in real life graffiti. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
neat.
Like that's. I think I asked him about that one time because I saw. I don't know if it was a story or something he had posted somewhere, but like. I didn't know that he did like actual graffiti, you know, because like it's on kind of his pieces. And then he posted something. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, you do this in real life?
I was like, yeah, like you like,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, no, like he does like great like artwork, like in the graffiti style, all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah, it's really cool.
um,
It's the second part.
yeah, I'll have to clip this and like send it to him, like be like, hey, we're talking about you.
Yeah.
Be funny. Okay, so part 2 is also toy photography ish related, but yeah, do you have any advice or anything that you would give to anybody that's like starting out or wanting to get into toy photography, or I guess maybe photography in general?
Oh, I mean, advice is just the way that I started is first I was interested, and the other thing is just keep trying, just keep doing it. I used to watch a lot of videos on how to manipulate camera. I used to watch a lot of videos on how to manipulate light. And stuff like that. So I mean, YouTube is such a great resource now, you know, for anything. You know, I learned so much just by watching a bunch of people that, you know, this is one of the reasons why I post my behind the scenes on most of my pictures, is because none of these techniques are mine. You know what I mean? I built everything that I do now based on what other people were doing. So, you know, just go and, you know, make sure that you check out the behind the scenes. Don't just look at the image, you know. So yeah, there you go. And it was just one of those things where the more you consume of the thing that you want to do, the better you're going to be at it as well, right? So even like most of the most notorious filmmakers that we enjoy are not guys that went to film school. This is a bunch of guys that love watching movies, you know, and so they just basically were like, all right, I'm in a camera, I'm going to do it. You know, first picture is going to suck, the second picture is going to suck a little less, and then you'll just keep sucking a little less until you find a camera. And I can guarantee that the picture that you put out today, you're going to love it. But in a year's time, you're like, I can't believe I like that picture. Right? It's one of those things where you'll see yourself gradually become better. So just do it, and don't pay attention to anything else. You know, don't focus on the likes. Focus on the process. The process is what really is the best part of it, because that's your alone time. It's the time that you're just trying to kind of say something, do something. You know, so it's kind of fun.
That's words to live by.
Yeah.
Follow the process.
If you don't apply it to your photography, apply it to your life in general.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Beth.
How can people, just one more shout out, what platforms are you on? Where can people follow you?
I don't want any followers. Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram anyway. You can check my stuff, but don't follow me. I also have a Facebook page that I don't post to. If you want to follow that, that's fine.
We'll post
but
it.
yeah, so yeah, other than that, I don't. I used to be on TikTok, and I just gave up. I had like 250,000 followers there, and I was like, bye. I don't feel like posting videos much. You know, I'll post a few reels here and there and all that stuff, but it's so time consuming, and the return on investment in terms of time is just so minimal that I was like, I got other shit to do with my time. So yeah. So yeah, no, I'm happy with the people that are following me now. If I really want it, I just like doing the work, and I like it when people show up. So that's great. And I like doing this. So thanks to you guys again for inviting me. This is a fun conversation.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good time.
Well, thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thanks for joining. And I was going to give, who do we have? We have David Vonner next week.
Yeah, David Vonner next week.
David Vonner next week. If you're not familiar, he's had a lot to do with getting toys made. So
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. He's got what was his head? His face was the inspiration for an action figure.
I forget which one. War Machine. One of the original, like I think might have been either 3.7 to 3.75. One of very early on Marvel Legend War Machines. Like he was, I think his face was modeled after that. So
that's so cool. I'd love to have an action figure of me.
I know. Like, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you could go around saying, "What did you do today?" I was playing with myself.
I mean, I kind of just tell people that anyway. I'm just like, I don't have a figure myself. I'm just like, what do you do? I'm just sitting here playing with myself.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
No
everybody.
problem.
Have a good
All
rest of
right,
the
so I'm gonna go return this shirt now and get back to normal. Yeah,
See y'all next week.
take care. Thanks, guys.